Good morning. Greeting all in the universal greetings of peace on this day, January 12th, 2022. It's good to be here. Got my boy in the background, Midnight the Battle Cat, anxiously looking and observing. Just wanted to get on here and, I had to say some things about the most recent things that have come out in our illustrious news media. It's almost like as the days go by, the more and more, as I've been saying, the writing is on the wall about a lot of the things that have been kept hidden from not only human beings, but the things that they are actively involved in, which blankets the whole planet, and a perception that has caused so much confusion, hysteria, division, and so now we we're getting little pieces of it. So yes, of course, when we start talking about Mr. Fauci, don't even consider him a doctor, man, because he's not looking out for the. He has never been looking out for the best, and this is something that I learned over the last year or so of doing my own studying and researching on this man. This man, there was a time I didn't even know he had anything to do with the AIDS virus. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people out here who running their mouth about Fauci, uh, they don't really understand that he's been around for a long time. He had his claws in the AIDS epidemic and everything. And it's ironic that as much damage AIDS caused, and the fear that was put out there about that, you still don't have vaccines available for that. Not. I mean, they're not being pushed or not presented to the public like these other vaccines are. But you know, that's neither here or there. But Fauci, man, it's amazing how one-sided the political spectrum could be on certain things. This is one of the things I've been trying to, especially in the black community. You know, I'm not no perfect person. I'm not no. I'm a work in progress. But deep down, when your spirit telling you something, just telling you something for the good of not only yourself but for others. But it's still up to others and other people individually to accept or reject whatever they want to. But out of love and out of just the weariness and leeriness of shit that's been going on. A lot of people been screaming at the top of they voice box about Dr. Fauci and how shit was off when this stuff was happening, started going down. Um, I guess it takes people who really want to find out shit, to really just start looking into shit, and then you start putting two and two together, and your two and two will not equal no damn eight. It will equal four. And this is something that I've been hoping that people who would get a chance to kind of look into things themselves and stop relying on information being force fed to them from different groups, different political affiliates, all this crap, man, because it's not a good look, and it's not leading to the truths that need to be out here for everybody to know, especially when you're dealing with something that has destroyed this planet when you talk about the moral uptick of people, and you talking about the economic destruction that has been unleashed on this planet. If you a person who can't see um, from who can't put themselves in other people's shoes, then they wouldn't understand nothing that I'm saying. But people who can really put themselves in people's shoes and understand what many people may be going through, even people who have lost loved ones and um, human beings. Wasn't like people that have been lost to this thing or numbers or just names. Everybody that has been whose death has been attributed to anything that has been associated with this whole thing, man. I mean, this would be the want to know what the hell has truly been happening, and if there are those who are responsible for this tragedy that has continued to grip this planet, then there needs to be those that are held the fuck responsible for it, man. And it's like the more and more each day goes by, the more and more shit come out, and it's all centered around this main talking head, this main mouthpiece, this Fauci guy. And the sad thing about it, I sat up and looked at some of the congressional hearings. The sad thing, and I have to put this out here because this is something that really unnerves me, and it really shows that obviously something else is more to the equation than what motherfuckers is saying in the first fucking place, and it's fucking obvious. It's almost like everything that's dealing with Fauci, the Republicans are the ones who are speaking up, who are saying shit. I'm not questioning it, their intent. If their intent is coincides with the intent of wanting human beings, wanting to have some accountability, why so many human beings have been suffering, have been confused, have been going through a lot of this stuff that been going through over the last. Not no fucking because want to know if fellow constituents. No, we want to know human beings. If the intent is on that level, then I can respect that. Because there's a genuine concern to want to really find out what the fuck been going on, man. What has happened? That and if anything shady, anything that's not right, it needs to be provided and shared with every fucking body, not only in this country, but with everybody across the world, especially when you got motherfuckers trying to implement policies and all this shit, leading back to the basic origins and who is involved in all this shit, man. So it's almost like, it's sad to see that so many people put their trust in these parties, these political parties. And it's almost like the Democrats have nothing to say on Dr. Fauci or any of the allegations that have been brought forth before him. And it seems like he has them in. And I just want to say something. I don't give a fuck about Democrat or Republican parties. And I'm gonna say this shit because there is no I'm riding with this party, so I'm gonna go after that side. Anything that they do, I'm gonna speak negative of, and all this other shit. No matter, even if I got fucking proof or evidence or facts to back that shit up. No, I'm gonna just put that out there. I do not give a damn about either party. For me, being honestly, this two-party system has been completely outdated and worn out its usefulness, especially when it's the principles and the protocols that this stuff is supposed to have been created for in the first place. It's not really wise. That's not really wise out here. So I do not give a damn about the left or the right, when it comes to stuff like this. When it comes to stuff like this, it's all about humanity and the truth that needs to be out here for everybody to understand and maneuver and adjust their lives according. Not according to political bullshit that these folks continue to partake in right in our eyes, right in our fucking faces, man. It's like it's sad, man. It's real fucking sad how they're doing this shit. But after looking at the hearings from congressional dealing with Fauci, Walensky, the lady of the CDC, I mean it's like the Twilight Zone. I remember a couple of years ago when this other crazed person, Trump, was the president, and all that shit was going on under his administration, and people were yelling and crying about this is wrong, and he's getting away with this, and he's getting away with that. It's funny how that narrative fits, you know, that particular purpose of a political agenda, because, you know, long as it had to do with Trump and it had to do, oh, he's doing, not saying this, we know everybody in their fucking right mind should know this man and that administration was full of shit. Just like any other fucking administration. But to sit here and to not see that the same way these folks were doing Trump is the same way that is being done with Fauci, but on the vice versa tip. So now you have majority of the fucking Democrats don't want to call this man out or even question this man. Most of the people you hear asking the fucking questions in these hearings are Republicans. I'm sorry, but are Republicans. Once again, their intent still remains to be seen. Are they truly genuine and wanting to find out what the fuck going on? But it makes it more obvious when you have people who trying to question this shit, and it seems like the whole opposite party is trying to keep that shit from being even acknowledged. To the point that this man, Fauci, who wanted to play the pity party about being threatened and stuff, what the fuck you expect? I mean, it's fucking obvious, dude. People out here are gone. People out here are not here anymore. You got people out here who families who are not going with the agendas, even though they may have lost loved ones, but they know that some shit is not right about this whole fucking thing. So of course there's bad blood that has been brewing, animosity and everything toward this man, because when they look up, this is the face of this whole thing. So what the fuck you expect? But to use that as a pity party to try and claim and make it seem like I don't, you know, the shit that Rand Paul asked that man, and by no means I am not a fucking fan of Rand Paul. I'm not a fucking fan of none of those politicians in there. But what I am a fan of is the fact when certain truths are put out there, no matter who it's coming from, it needs to be acknowledged. You can't just shut down you can't just shut down factual investigations, man, when you're trying to look for the right facts, man, just because you may not believe in the political aspect of it. Otherwise, then, I mean, everything that these folks are doing, man, is no different than what they be doing in the past. Now everybody's waking up to this shit. Hold on 1 minute. All right, sorry about that. All right. But I mean, it's almost like it's time out for this shit, man. A lot of people are saying the same thing, man, because people are seeing it for their eyes, with their own two eyes. I mean, what else can you do? It's really nothing else you can do. People have to see for themselves how tremendously a lot of this stuff does not make sense. Now a lot of these senators and they called some of that shit out. Like I said, once again, it has to do with intent. Are you doing this with the intentions of getting to the bottom of this shit, the truth, with the same tenacity that the Democrats claim that they're trying to get to the bottom of January 6th of 2021? I mean, that's all we keep hearing. But it's sad to know that, you know, the majority of the Democratic Party is not speaking or saying anything about any of this stuff. They're not even trying to give it a time of day. And when you look at the media, with all of the stuff that happened, as far as in that hearing that was shown on C-SPAN, and they had all that stuff going on, you know, all these different characters questioning Fauci and Walensky, you know, all, you know, and it's like, how does that not get any, how does the back and forth questions and the debates not even get covered on like places like CNN and MSNBC? And it's like, it's sad because the people who are reporting, these journalists and all this stuff that claim they out here doing all this stuff for people, and it's like, how do you even sleep at night knowing that you are giving a tainted, distorted view of facts that obviously a lot of the media coverage is going according to a certain agenda? We will cover some things, but not all things, yet claim to be journalists. We will continue to push out a lot of information that seems to not be able to be questioned or debated. Just like with the whole thing about the science thing, it's like, how can you not question motherfuckers who claim they this and that so much about science and this and that? It's almost like if you can't question something, if you have to just accept it because motherfuckers telling you that shit, if you can't question, there's no way that can be accepted as being proper or right. I mean, it's nothing but propaganda. People don't know. I guess people don't understand what propaganda mean. I don't know, or how that go or whatever. I guess people are too caught up in the other issues that a lot of these politicians continue to lead people astray and distract from a lot of the shit that a lot of the real deal subject matters that we need to be on. But yeah, it's sad, man. It's sad to see that you have, and like I said, being from the black community, I know how much the Democratic Party and all that stuff seems to be in the forefront of black culture right now. As far as, you know, I'm not saying all black people are Democrats. I know there's some Republicans and this and that and the third. You know, it really don't fucking matter. But the whole thing is, I know how much this has been in our history. I know how many people in my family and all this stuff support a lot of it, have supported it. Maybe because of a different character a while ago who was in office. Whatever it took, man. We, black people, have always claimed this party, man. And to see folks sit up here and act like they don't have, and this is just, and I don't care about the race. I'm just pulling it out here because I know this is something that affects a lot of the same community I'm from. Because overall, we're all from one community, the human community. And the shit that's happening is not really geared for one particular group. It's causing mayhem and confusion and damage all across the board. But it seems like it's like he almost, it's like, wow. You I know why it's this stuff is doing what it's doing. I know why they're doing what they do, but it's kind of hurtful and sad to see so many people, man, being misled and misguided in ways that. And the first thing people want to do is tell you to do your research and all this other shit. But when you do your research and you do find out, okay, this shit is not up to par. Motherfuckers still cognitive dissonance, man. They still refuse to accept it. And it's almost like something traumatic has to happen in order for people to truly open their eyes up and see what the fuck's going on. So like I said, we got the whole Democratic Party that's barely even touching the subject matter with Fauci. Why all these facts coming out about different shit? Why all this, first of all, why did you lie under oath in front of Congress for the last couple of times he spoke in front of it? He's still doing it. He did it yesterday. So it's like, and you don't have a full Congress who's supposedly supposed to represent everybody, and I'm hoping people see how this shit. How is this doing any fucking good to the country? How is this doing any fucking good to people who are suffering, for people who have lost people, for people who have gone through this sickness, or people who are just burnt out of being scared to death on a daily because of the shit these folks keep putting out and spreading on media. And it's like it's all overseas. They're doing shit. The French president talking about he gonna make it hard on people who are not vaccinated. Like, who the fuck are you? Who are you? Who are you? Are you God? Are you a fucking But that's what these folks think. And it's not because that's what they think. A lot of these motherfuckers, the agendas are from motherfuckers who are fucking psychopathic, narcissistic jackasses who feel like everything revolves around them, and they gotta have all their motherfucking ducks up in a row, their ducks in a line up in a row, all their yes men and yes women, creating an environment while us, the low folks on the totem pole, just gotta buy into all this shit, man. It's like, come on, it's a time out for that bullshit. There is no fucking reason why the Democratic Party should be sitting here on silent mode about Fauci. There's no reason why this man should still be holding a position of leadership and guidance for something that a lot of shit keeps coming back to his ass from the get-go about. So much shit, man. You talking about the epitome. You got a lot of human beings down here because of a lot of this shit. This man's history stretches back not only from this shit, but the overall shit he was doing, the experiments with taxpayer fucking money. Shit that everybody go to work and they take this shit out your fucking check. Everybody's screaming like it's supposed to go toward roads and infrastructure and all this shit. They taking all your hard-earned energy. You put out that energy, you got that money in return for that energy you put out in your job every fucking day. And they take all this shit, and behind closed doors and behind distorted information, they do shit. This man was doing shit with animals. They was talking about the shit that was going down with the beagle dogs and all type of crazy shit, man. This motherfucker is like a mad scientist, and the groups that he affiliate with know this shit. But yet this, no fucking, seems like they're more concerned with, which I've been said, that they're more concerned with January 6th. Like that's the only event that deserves to have investigations, that deserves to have This shit been going on way before January 6th of last year. So it's like, get the fuck out of here, man. It's Democrats are wrong for the bullshit they're doing. Republicans are wrong for the bullshit they've been doing. It's time out for this shit, man. When people gonna recognize and wake up to the fact that both these parties, man, are causing more damage than, and whatever illusionary successes motherfuckers think they have had has nothing has nothing compared to all the fucking devastation these parties have caused. And it just hurts when you see people at least trying to address certain concerns, but you got a whole nother section. And when I see a lot of black folks, you know, like the Black Caucus and all this, a lot of black people passed away, a lot of black folks eager to jump out there and listen to what these folks saying because of what happened to loved ones and this and that. And you hear none of these black people who continue to talk about racial disparities. You hear none of them saying anything or asking any questions about, okay, now what's the deal with Fauci? Okay, we got all this stuff. Why aren't we bringing this shit up? Why aren't we saying anything? And it should be fucking obvious why. I mean, it's been people who have an ear to wisdom know what the big picture is. You follow the money bags, all this shit gonna show you, gonna lead to who all been involved, who all been playing this game. Because me personally, I believe everybody has some knowledge of what the fuck been going on. But you know, people gotta have some kind of way to keep themselves and their family and their unit straight, because what we living in is a selfish society. No matter how much people want to talk about, yeah, you got some people out here who are charitable and do their things and whatnot, try and help other people. But when you start going into government and all this other shit, folks don't give a damn about regular people. Once they take that oath, a corrupted oath of office, knowing that the office is already, the fucking office itself is corrupted, and it's been corrupted. So you take oaths all day you want to. This shit don't mean nothing. Anytime these folks can sit here and tell lies, just like when Trump was in Trump and his administration, all the shit everybody wanted to call out on Trump. Yeah, Trump this, Trump that. To a point you got so sick and tired of that shit, because it's like, man, y'all wasting all y'all energy calling out something that people who've been around. I know I wasn't born yesterday. Motherfucker already know how this motherfucker is. Motherfucker already knew about the stories, his race shit, his bigotry, his sexism. Motherfucker been knew about that shit. It's like, what made you think this motherfucker changed? And not only that, this motherfucker comes from an established family. Bet a lot of people didn't know that Trump's relative. If anybody was to look up on Tesla and Nikola Tesla, and this was a guy who did a lot for trying to bring humanity to a point. We're trying to bring humanity to evolve humanity to a point where everybody could enjoy the freedom of having access to unlimited energy sources, not energy sources that are controlled and monopolized by corporate and entities like we're dealing with at this present moment. A lot of people who run their mouth and talk a lot of stuff about shit that they basically don't know. They won't even take the simple time to do the research, but they want to piggyback off of other people that's doing it. And it's like Trump's uncle, John G. Trump, was a professor of electrical engineering at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, from 1936 to 1973. And after Nikola Tesla died, and all of the information in which he worked on, because this man was brilliant, genius. This man was a person who, a lot of the stuff that he brought in, that he worked on, is slick in our reality right now. Just people don't know where it really came from. People want to attribute everything to Edison and all these other folks, when a lot of this shit came from Tesla. And it's not no fucking Tesla with Elon Musk and that fucked up ass car company. No. Way more significant than that bullshit. But Tesla wanted free energy for every human being on the planet. Something that these powers behind the shit we see out here that claim they are leaders, they know this. They know everything about free energy. They know about history. They know about civilizations that have used this shit, the science and all that stuff. So he made the Tesla Tower, which was used was able to work, was pulling frequencies out of the ether and out of all type of shit, where he was able to have electricity, was able to power generators and shit. You didn't have fucking electrical lines running down the blocks with wires everywhere, so when storms come, you have to deal with that issue and all that shit. There have been people in history that have literally tried to push this planet and human evolution further than where we've been stuck. But people on the in the inner workings of our governments and everything else, they don't want that shit. Sad truth. So here it is. John G. Trump, Trump's uncle, after Tesla passed away, after he was ridiculed and everybody kind of downplayed Tesla because J.P. Morgan and all these people who are the big bankers and those that were loaning money out and they didn't want to support Tesla because they didn't want energy to be supplied to people for free. They wanted all this shit, motherfuckers, to be paid. The Wardenclyffe Tower. That was Tesla's tower. All people gotta do is look this shit up. When he passed away in obscurity, a lot of his shit, people didn't want to take it seriously because they didn't have that backing, and they wasn't gonna get that backing because as long as he was talking about free energy, you're not getting shit. If you talking about, well, we can get profit off of that shit, hell yeah. And that's why Edison's name is always pushed out there and nobody really know a damn thing about Tesla. You always hear about Edison. Edison really bankrolled, piggybacking off a lot of Tesla shit. But he was the one willing to cooperate with the backers, the bankers that were backing that shit and willing to invest. So after Tesla died, the FBI and John Trump went in and confiscated papers and all that stuff. You'll never get the reason why they did that. So before people get to running their fucking mouth off about shit and, Trump, Biden, whoever, these motherfuckers we already know human beings are capable of lying, murder, deceit, distortion, all that shit. So for people to put all their eggs in one basket, that's crying shame. But yeah. So throughout that whole time, motherfuckers were talking their shit about Trump this, Trump that, and then people saying, yeah, he's doing more for back and forth. Now we got a situation where we got a man. Can't even say you're a man. These folks don't have no soul. But you got a person who is on these televisions every fucking day from sun up to sundown on mainstream media outlets discussing from day one about this whole thing that's gripped this planet. And now with facts being out here, that it may be more to the story than it was led off in the first place. You would think this would be one of the biggest stories the planet would be trying to get to the bottom to. Will always have information on her. Nope. But one thing I know for sure is that, you know, the statement I've always said that what's in the dark will eventually come to the light. And it's doing it. But the thing is, how are people going to be affected by it? How are people going to see this and accept it and move forward from it? There's no way human beings can move forward from it without acknowledging this shit. And that's something that it seems the Democratic Party do not want to even acknowledge this shit, yet they were the ones screaming about the Republicans not trying to acknowledge Trump and all his mishandlings and misdoings with his administration, and the liars and bullshitters that was in his characters in his circle. What's the difference? It's another shit show party with more characters, which is even more important because these characters are linked to something that has destroyed people. Whether it destroyed their livelihood, taking their life, taking their freedoms. How do you explain that shit? It's crazy. But yeah, this is really the shit that came out on. That's why I really like fucking with Project Veritas. They've been on this shit from day one. It's like you get more information from independent news than you will off mainstream news, and it's so fucking obvious because these mainstream media outlets and big tech, who are responsible for censoring anything other than the narrative, they're being bankrolled by those who want this particular story to stay the way it is. Nothing else added, nothing else taken away. Don't matter if shit don't make sense. Don't matter if some shit then came out and busted. Just keep the same narrative going. And it's like, you can't do that. Too many people see what. Goddamn, that shit doesn't make any fucking sense. Especially when you've lost people. There is no fucking way in hell that I could give any credence to Fauci, Walensky, Collins, any of these names that they keep bringing up that's involved in all this shit. CNN, MSNBC, and living here in the Detroit area, the local news, that media that won't put nothing that's dealing with anything opposite of take your ass out, get a test, or get the shot. They show no acknowledgement of nothing. There's no way I have respect for the Democratic Party. One, for this bullshit that continue to go along with. There's no way I have respect for any institution, religious, education, political, however it may be. There's no way I have respect for any that continue to go along with this shit and stay in a state of denial when The house of cards is slowly falling down. There's no way I respect the Republican Party for the nonsense and bullshit they continue to purvey in. You know, all these hypocrites around here acting like they got everybody's best interest. Half these motherfuckers pedophiles telling you how to live, but I ain't gonna go into that. The main thing they're pushing is bullshit from somebody that could be responsible for a lot of people out of here because of the dangerous and fucked up experiments these folks have been doing. And then when you see all these other names that's linked in, you know, Bill Gates, and then you see how far the media and big tech have gone to censor. Money is involved in all this shit. You see how much the big pharma, the main guys that's out here in the limelight. Of course, Pfizer, Moderna, and all these companies where they didn't have whistleblowers say this and say that, but yet people still act like they don't know. They don't know what the hell. You know, it's okay to be confused. It's okay to not really know, but it is not okay to purposely mislead other people because that's how you feel. If you feel that way, then a person individually, they have the right to do that. But when you start trying to shape other people's, especially people who already inwardly feel some kind of way about shit, you ain't no better than these folks that's just sitting up here outright lying to everybody. And that's how these folks is getting away with this bullshit, man. So there's no way there's any respect from me to any of for any of this shit. And it's kind of crazy when you look at the hearings that happened yesterday. It's like wow, man. A lot of shit that was put out there. I mean, this is some real shit. And you just don't understand. I mean, something like that, you would think everybody in Congress would be, yeah, we got to get to the bottom of this. You know, it don't matter who you are, independent, Democrat, Republican, however the fuck it wouldn't matter who the fuck you is. The whole point would be about trying to find out what the fuck is going on with humanity and how do we get this shit back right. How do we find out about what's been going on as far as dealing with so, you know, it's funny how you don't get that. Now we in the midst of this shit, and it looks like Prince Andrew's court case is coming up with the pedophiles and, you know, all the people who continue to think that a lot of these folks and these big positions and royal family positions and this and that and these titles and all this shit, you know, some of that shit that they've been doing with Epstein, all this stuff is playing out. All this stuff is fucking playing out, man. And so we got this man. You see, the news media is so fucking full of shit. The only thing they would cover from this shit is Anthony Fauci calling one of those guys a moron. It's like that's the only thing they focus on out of all these hours of testimony and debating. They pick up on Fauci saying he has death threats and a motherfucker's a moron. They skip over all the questions that were asked. Why were you continuing to say that Um, you are not funding the dangerous gain of function research and this and that. They're not even saying nothing about that, or they're not saying about why Miss Walensky, CDC, and why were y'all saying one thing 1 minute and then switching it around and saying another thing? Why aren't we having the test that? Because now it looks like motherfuckers trying to go into the mathematics of things. Why are we all this money from the different packages that were passed, and the administration, this administration was supposed to be having all this stuff set up, test here, test there, and why you don't have motherfuckers, why motherfuckers don't have access to tests when all this money was put out here. They don't say none of that. They skip over all that stuff just to show Fauci talking about his life is threatened when everybody's life threatened. We all living up under a fucking. People don't want to admit that shit. Whether you took the jab or not, you still in danger. Let them tell it. So it's like you are at risk every day. So we all at risk under the threat of this bullshit, of the crazies out here who are clocking out 9 times 10 because they sick of this bullshit, don't know how to release that energy because everything is so bottled into some negative shit. They won't say nothing about that. But they'll continue. They'll talk about him calling a motherfucker a moron. They won't say nothing about why. Even the questions dealing with, do you think you had handled this shit properly? All that shit was never discussed. So, I mean, it's sad that you have this shit going on right in front of people's faces and you only have few who actually acknowledge it. And then you have some who just completely in denial about it. So it's going to be interesting to see how this continue to play out because DARPA, in which a lot of the information came out on dealing with DARPA is like a defense weapons group out of which is embodied in the Department of Defense. And once again, a lot of people don't even know what the fuck DARPA is. DARPA has been around years and has been questionable shit around DARPA and the technologies that they have been putting out here. All a person got to do is look it up. All a person got to do, if they really want to know what's going on, do your own research. Stop relying on these bums. And if you really want to know the truth, have that intent. The truth will eventually be led to you. You won't have to worry about this, that. And then you will have the wisdom of discernment. But they ain't looking too good, man. And the reason why I say that, because there's too many people that continue to buy this foolishness that's really anti-human. Everything that is happening right now has nothing to do with what politics you are, what color you are, what religion you are. None of this shit has nothing to do with this. We are looking at motherfuckers who are above, who believe they are above the law because that is the standard in which we have been up under for years. Just nobody never really wanted to address that shit. We have all these motherfuckers running around dictating to other people how to live and how to achieve this and do this and do that. But yet when their wrongs are committed, they don't want to be exposed for being the wrong. But let it be anybody else, an average person. I can speak on it. I know I've done wrong, and I've had to answer the call for what I've done. And if I didn't do the things I did, I probably would not be in the mindset where I'm at now. But yes, I've done wrong in my past. Shit that I've looked at and regret. But it hasn't stopped me from, I I take responsibility for that shit. I accepted it and pay whatever price. So that's why it's such of a problem with me when I see people and I see suffering, I see confusion, I see struggle all around me, and you see those who are the ones creating and manipulating and carrying this shit day after day after day to year after year after year are the reason why a lot of this shit is happening, and nobody seems to understand that except for a select few all over the globe. I mean, pretty sure there's people in France, people in Saudi Arabia, people in China, people in Russia who do not agree with the agendas and the narratives that they are presently living up under, because they know that these people that so-called are their leaders are full of it too. So this ain't just an American thing. This is something that's global, man. It's just that some of these main characters so happen to be from here. This is their headquarters. Even when you look at Fauci's wife, the history of her, all you gotta do is look all this shit up. I mean, people have been getting broke off financially after all this shit. All these pharmaceutical companies, Johnson & Johnson, all this shit, man. It's just it's amazing how people just allow themselves to just be. And I know the pain and the tragedy of losing people will make you want to try and the fear. But when all of that is being misguided and it's being, you're being taken advantage of, man. There's no way, man. After losing my folks, man, there's no way I can accept none of this shit. And the sad thing about it, I know that everybody that has crossed over from this stuff, man, believe me, on the other side of the veil, man, these people are our people are doing whatever it takes on the other side of the veil, man, to get this shit exposed for what it is. I feel it. I know it is. I mean, I know it is, because when you have that spiritual insight on certain things, I mean, sometimes it's hard to explain. You just know what it is. And a lot of times people can't accept it, because as long as if you ain't saying it the way they want to hear it, if you ain't saying, well, you know, you got to have Jesus, or you got to have Allah, or you got to have this or that. Why can't it be where, you know what? If that's what it takes, you know, to get the truth, or to get to a peace of mind or whatever, so be it. I support you. You know, I'm with you. We can agree to disagree on certain things, but when it comes to the collective of trying to find a common answer to what the hell's been going on, and to expose a lot of the obvious nonsense, and that has impacted everybody, man. And this is serious shit, man. I can't say it enough, man. This has been serious. And you know, you want the best for everybody, and you hope for the best for everybody. At the same time, as you see things play out, you kind of get to a point where you're reserved on knowing that some things is just meant to happen, and the only thing you have the power to do is continue to focus on your own spiritual advancement, your discernment, keeping your wisdom sharp, gaining more knowledge and insight on things, even if it means even if it means sometime um, dealing with different resources, different this. Sometimes you have to step out of that fucking box. Everybody's been in a fucking box. We still been, they trying to keep everybody in the box. So it's time to step the fuck out of it. So after that shit yesterday, you know, it's completely obvious. I stand on what I stand. I do not consent with any of this madness. And those that continue, you know, they have to understand karma is real, man. People that continue to promote shit that they that has a sinister, insidious background to it. The more you keep doing it, the more that karma gonna come back around. And not only for people who continue to promote this shit, but those who are actually responsible for it. That karma is in the way. They just don't know. But I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to close this down. Just to had to get on here and put my little 2 cents in. As we see, a lot more is coming down the pipe. Just trying to stay one step ahead. Wishing the best to everyone. See what transpires today, not only with this situation, but also with the Maxwell and you know, now they got Prince Andrew about to go to court. Interesting to see this. Because it's almost like, will anybody of any high stature be held accountable for anything? It's like, damn, that's a good question everybody should be asking. But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off and wish everybody the best. It's real serious business. And you know, if you believe in God, man, you just gotta know that things will work out for the best for those who love the Lord. There's no time to get into no disputes and arguments about who's right or what or whatever, about what the hell what they claim or whatever, man. It's all about focusing that spiritual energy towards something better, so that the truths that surround us but are hidden could eventually show themselves for what there is. And we'll see. So I greet you as I came in peace and love. Wishing everybody a pleasant day, pleasant week. And I may be back on here before the week out. We'll see. Peace.